Hi my lovelies. Today I wanted to get on here and talk about something a little bit different. It's still on authenticity, but today I want to get a little into astrology because I feel like astrology, even though a lot of people don't believe in astrology, and by the way, this video is on astrology, so if you don't want to hear about astrology, you know what to do. I feel like when I was diving into getting to know myself and trying to be authentic and basically before I was even on an authentic journey, I was trying to get to know myself, because in the past I did not know who I was. I didn't know who I wanted to be. I didn't know what I wanted to be like. And about 2 years ago I was introduced to astrology. Now my whole life, of course, I knew that what my sun sign was. Like, everybody knows what their sun sign is. Everybody knows what their sign is when they were born, blah blah blah. But a lot of people don't know about their birth charts. A lot of people don't know that we have all 12 signs in our birth chart. And with this information, I started diving deep into my birth chart, and I started finding out a lot of things about myself that basically I already knew about myself, but I understood a little bit more why I was the way I was, or why I am the way I am. And so yeah, so today is gonna be me speaking on a few different things about our birth charts. Our birth charts make up basically who we are, why we are the way we are, and can actually help us deal with certain things in our lives, and I'll get more into that later. Now, we all know our sun sign, and some of us know our big three or something like that. And if you know your big three, then you know a little bit about astrology. I only know a little bit about astrology, but I do want to share what I do know about astrology, because I think it helps with getting to know yourself. It helps with a lot of self-awareness when you know what's going on in your chart and in your houses. And I will get a little bit more into that later. When we start to look into our chart, we start to see where the signs lie, what houses they lie in. We start to understand what traits come from which signs and how they show up in our lives. We can start to see what planet was in what sign, and what sign and planet was in what house, and we have 12 houses. All of this information helps us understand how we react in our friendships, in our home lives, in our work lives, our belief systems, and our ego. And so as I've been on this journey of authenticity, learning about my birth chart has helped me understand why I respond to certain situations the way I do. So like I said before, my sun sign, which is basically where the sun was located when I was born, okay, is in Gemini. The sun represents our ego, our core identity, and our vitality. And Gemini is communicative, inquisitive, dual-natured. We have multiple perspectives, and full of childlike energy. Now, my moon sign is in Leo, and the moon signifies how we process our emotions, react to our environment, and express our inner selves. And Leos are creative, somewhat dramatic, have a need for recognition, can be great leaders, and are very playful. But like I said before, we cannot base our whole personalities on just our sun signs or just our moon signs. Because we have a whole chart full of different signs, different traits, different characteristics. So our other placements matter as well. That's why it's very important to study your birth chart. So as I dive deeper into finding myself, learning myself, so that I can be more authentic, it helps to know where the planets lie in my birth chart. For example, I recently found out that I have an Aries placement in Venus. Now, the planet Venus is the planet of love, relationships, and values. So its placement in our birth chart can give us insight into how we express our affection, what we find attractive, and how we interact in romantic relationships. So since Venus is in Aries in my birth chart, it means that I may have a very bold and passionate approach to love, which I do. I am very fiery, very direct, and very outspoken, very blunt. I always say people have to be a tough cookie when it comes to dating me, or even being my friend, because in my friendships there's a lot of love, and I'm usually trying to help my friends in any type of way, and sometimes I can be very direct, very blunt, and very bold with my statements, and you have to be a tough cookie. Anyway, to get a deeper understanding of how an Aries placement might show up in your life, you have to also understand the houses and where the Aries Venus placement lies, like in which house. And to explain a little bit more, there are 12 houses. The houses represent areas of our life, our experiences, and different aspects of our personalities. If you want me to do a video on the different houses, drop a house emoji in the comments. That way I can go into a little bit more detail about the different houses and how they show up in our lives. But for this video, I'm just going to talk about where my Venus, or where a Venus placement lies, and in which house it lies in. Since I really don't want to make this video too long, because since I am a Gemini sun, I could talk for hours and hours and hours. So to understand a little bit more deeper about how an Aries placement would show up in your lives, you have to look at the different houses. In my chart, Venus shows up in Aries, which also shows up in my 11th house. Now the 11th house is related to friendships, groups, social causes, and humanitarian interests. It reflects one's social networks and aspirations. So someone who has a Aries and Venus placement in the 11th house would often approach friendships and social connections with enthusiasm and intensity, the fiery Aries. These placements may be drawn to friends who are adventurous, independent, and stimulating. And their romantic interests may stem from their friendships, since these placements enjoy good fellowship and genuine connection and love. So as you can see, it is extremely important when diving into oneself to explore all of our planetary properties, as this can help us have a sense of self-awareness, can help us understand the patterns in our lives, and identify the underlying influences that shape our decisions and experiences. With more understanding, we can make more empowered and informed decisions in various aspects of our lives, from relationships to career choices. Understanding these placements can even guide us towards pursuits that feel fulfilling and align with our authentic purpose, rather than choosing career paths based on external pressure or expectations. Having knowledge about where the stars were aligned when you were born can really help understand the timing and significance of life events and personal cycles. I'm personally still learning about my chart. It has helped me to understand why I am the way I am, and helped me to show myself a little bit more compassion about being different, or just being the way that I am. Since we are each individually made and no one is like anyone else, we need to understand this information on our journey to self-compassion, and authenticity. Well, that's all I have for today. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a like, leave me a thumbs up, so that I can continue to make videos like this. Make sure to leave a little house emoji in the comments if you want me to do a video on the different houses and what they mean, how they might show up in your life, and just give you information on the houses. If you want to learn more about your birth chart, I'll leave some of the websites that I use in the description box so that you can read up on yourself. You're gonna need your birth date, and it really helps if you know what time you were born and where you were born. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel for more updates on how to love yourself authentically. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye, lovelies.